Tonight, a call for action against protests as the impact deepens.
I believe it's time for the law to be enforced.
What Ottawa's doing and how Canadians are reacting.
If the government can't do something about it immediately, then what's the point of government?
Allegations of brutality. 10 women sue a prominent Canadian businessman.
People become accustomed to being surveilled.
A possible new tool for police right at your front door. And we're there as police bust the Canadian arm of an international phone scam. They're after your money and they're getting better at it. This is The National. The Prime Minister and other officials face growing pressure tonight to end protests that have frozen rail traffic in much of the country and disrupted the daily routines for thousands of people.
Let us remind ourselves that this has been a really difficult week for Canadians. People having trouble getting to work, to school, or home. Small businesses having trouble getting their goods to market.
But Justin Trudeau still insists dialogue is the best way to end the aggressive demonstrations, now 1 week old. They're meant to support some hereditary chiefs in BC and put a halt to a $6 billion gas pipeline. In a moment, we'll look into the politics and we'll show you what happened today at a key blockade. But first, here's Cameron McIntosh on the impact of a rail system under siege.
Even with the western half of the country mostly still rolling, the ripple effect of the blockades and CN's eastern shutdown is being felt here. Near Regina, Todd Lewis isn't moving much grain.
That's durum wheat there.
All winter, the grain rail system has been backed up. This is making it worse.
We've heard reports of trains being backed all the way up from the west coast all the way back to Melville, Saskatchewan. So it's really, almost gridlock on those rail lines.
For days, this BC blockade cut off access to the grain port in Prince Rupert, which is now reopening. But CN is still working through a backlog from its strike in November. Now it's lost its eastern ports. And it's not just agriculture feeling it. In Halifax, ships are waiting as inbound containers pile up.
The import cargo that's coming in can't be loaded onto rail, and the longer this goes on, the more of it is going to pile up on the docks.
As with the strike, there are fears of shortages. Propane in Quebec, chlorine for water treatment in Ontario, and again, warnings from rail-reliant manufacturers.
We're thinking of companies who are looking to shut down production lines, even close certain shops or plants because they don't have access to the supply of the products they need.
Ballpark, you're probably looking at something between 60 million and 160 million a week in lost GDP.
While this economist says the early numbers are hard to pin down, it's not just about the money. Across industries, a common worry about how Canada will be viewed.
It damages our reputation as a reliable supplier.
Back on the farm, it's simple.
If farmers aren't able to haul, they're not getting paid.
Now, for all the dire warnings, CN's investors don't seem too worried, at least not yet. Like many of its trains today, its share price barely moved. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All of this controversy originates in BC. Greg Rasmussen shows us how protesters in the capital lashed out at the provincial government.
Their goal, shut down all BC government operations in the capital.
Wet'suwet'en will be free.
Their main tactic, prevent workers from getting inside their office buildings, but keep it polite.
So we just want to refrain from any name calling, shaming.
In the end, several hundred protesters set up outside more than 20 Victoria government offices.
People over profit.
They were open, but only a handful of people could be seen going inside.
It makes me emotional, honestly, as an Indigenous person. It makes me feel that we're being heard, we're being seen, and that people aren't going to let human rights violations take place on those territories, on any of us.
Stand up, fight back!
Despite vocal opposition, the pipeline was approved by Wet'suwet'en elected leaders. In Victoria today, the fear was a repeat of Tuesday, when workers faced insults and filed complaints of assault after pipeline opponents blocked access to the legislature. Today, the union told its 10,000 local office workers to stay home.
To not try and force their way through, that under the rights of their collective agreement, they do have the right to refuse to cross, so we're advising them not to cross.
Near Vancouver, a blockade that shut down rail service for thousands of commuters is now down, but anger lingers.
It has nothing to do with the average person trying to get to work every day. It's ridiculous. And if the government can't do something about it immediately, then what's the point of government?
The goal, though, isn't necessarily to win over the public, says this UBC professor who studies protest movements. Rather, it's to make things difficult for any resource project.
It might make investors think twice, or it might make the government think twice about approving future projects.
The big question now is, how will this conflict be resolved? The answer? No one seems to know. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Victoria.
That protest in Victoria pales in comparison to halting traffic in one of Canada's busiest rail corridors. Today, the Ontario Superior Court renewed the injunction requested by CN that allows police to remove Mohawk demonstrators, but the provincial force still hasn't moved in, and today explained why. It said the proper exercise of police discretion should not be confused with a lack of enforcement. As Olivia Stefanovic shows us, that's not good enough for some politicians.
This train isn't going anywhere, and neither is this Mohawk camp. The demonstrators say it will stay up until RCMP leave Wet'suwet'en territory in BC. The Prime Minister, still overseas, faces intense pressure to resolve the dispute.
We have been fully engaged, fully seized with this as a government.
Every day these demonstrations continue, the economy suffers. But the Prime Minister says he's determined to move forward peacefully.
We are a country that recognizes the right to protest, but we are a country of the rule of law, and we will ensure that everything is done to resolve this through dialogue and constructive outcomes.
That approach has yielded some results. Barricades have come down in parts of the country, but this key rail blockade near Belleville, Ontario, remains a hefty obstacle.
Quite frankly, this is getting ridiculous.
The opposition leader says Trudeau must order the RCMP to intervene.
These activists may have the luxury of spending days at a time on a blockade, but they need to check their privilege. They need to check their privilege and let people whose job depends on the railway system, and small business, farmers, do their jobs.
I think those are not helpful comments.
Transport Minister Marc Garneau says his government has struck the right balance.
We believe that the approach that we're taking at the moment, which includes the rule of law, but also discussions with First Nations, is the best approach to take.
Mohawks are preparing to meet Indigenous Services Minister Mark Miller tomorrow here. A resolution largely depends on what they do after that, and it's not clear the community has reached a consensus. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Tyendinaga.
A dramatic development tonight in our investigation of international phone scams. They have ripped off Canadians to the tune of more than $30 million. Well, now the RCMP has arrested 2 Canadians, allegedly acting as so-called money mules.
The roles of the mules was to receive packages that contained cash, Canadian cash.
Police seized $26,000 as well as a money counting machine and jewelry worth more than $100,000, just a fraction of what Canadians have lost. So that's the public face of the bust, but how did the takedown actually come about? Well, the CBC News Marketplace team was given a close-up look, and David Common picks up that part of the story.
The culmination of a nearly year-long investigation. Federal agents, some undercover, are on the verge of a major arrest. In the wee hours, RCMP officers are tailing Gurinder Preet Dhaliwal, the target of their arrest.
Picking up speed to 80 clicks. Open up to 2 lanes. He's traveling in lane 2.
He's alleged to be a Canadian connection to scams so many of us know all too well.
My name is Dennis Gray, calling you from Revenue Agency CRA.
The tax scam, among others. Fraudulent Calls Marketplace has investigated in India, the epicenter of the world's scam call industry.
There will be legal consequences and you will be arrested to defraud the government.
They prey on vulnerable Canadians operating in buildings like this.
I will be calling you again and again.
Now the RCMP say there are senior accomplices in Canada.
He's past the Canadian Tire sign.
Let's go. We're driving there right now.
There, in the parking lot, Dhaliwal in the reflective coat is arrested, just as he shows up for work.
We've just been told by the Mounties it's not the last planned arrest for today.
Hours later, his wife Inderpreet is also arrested.
You're under arrest for fraud, like I said.
Taken from her car to a holding cell. Both charged with fraud and money laundering, though neither has yet been in court to enter a plea.
It's about time. It's about time, guys.
Nahid Philippos lost $3,000 to scammers and has waited months to see action here in Canada.
When you see a guy like that in handcuffs?
I'm happy, definitely very happy about that. And I appreciate what the police has done to do this. This is a big victory.
Good for them. Good for them. It's about bloody time.
Former fraud investigator Mark Simchison believes the arrest may be a precedent in Canada and sends a clear message.
This is going to be a deterrent for sure. We're going to get our co-conspirators that are here in this province thinking twice about, oh, I thought we were untouchable, and they're not.
And David's in our Toronto studio. I guess a lot of people wondering, will this stop the calls here?
Yeah, I wish I could say yes, but no, it will not. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. These call centers in India just keep moving around, and it's big business. It continues to be lucrative. And so targeting the wallet, targeting people here in this country, these alleged money mules, that is really key to trying to take down those calls ultimately.
And what's your sense, David, in terms of who is going to get targeted next?
It's a good question. We know that there is an arrest warrant out for an individual who has since fled the country, fled Canada, gone back to India. More apparently going to come. And they're looking particularly at people who are here on student visas, people who may have been recruited elsewhere out of the country to come here and be money mules, or people who have been recruited once they've arrived here. If they find them, they'll pull their visas, send them back.
These calls, such a problem for so many of us. CBC's David Common, thank you. And you can watch David's full investigation on CBC Gem or at cbc.ca/marketplace. A titan of Canadian fashion is facing sexual assault allegations from victims who were as young as 14 at the time. Peter Nygard cultivated a glittering image for decades, but as the Fifth Estate's Bob McEwen shows us, a new lawsuit alleges a darker reality.
Now in his late 70s, this is how Peter Nygard wants to be seen. Vital, powerful, in both business and life. It's an image he spent half a century building. Beginning in Winnipeg, he made himself Canada's top fashion supplier and one of the country's wealthiest businessmen. Marketing moderately priced clothing for mature women. It all added up to an image larger than life, which yesterday was dealt a serious blow. 10 women have now filed a civil class action lawsuit seeking damages from Nygard for allegedly drugging, raping, and sodomizing them. It's alleged most of the assaults took place at his Bahamas home between 2008 and 2015.
We've spoken in our investigation to over hundreds of women that have been party to the various things that have occurred at the hands of Mr. Nygard, and that is how we were able to arrive at this complaint as it stands today.
Attorney Lisa Haba represents the women in New York, the majority of whom, she says, were either 14 or 15 years old at the time of the alleged rapes.
If an individual is a minor and they were being exploited for the purpose of a commercial sexual act, when that occurs, then that becomes human trafficking on its face.
The lawyers in New York can say what they want.
Jay Prober of Winnipeg is Peter Nygard's lawyer.
It's scandalous, that it's vexatious, and it doesn't deserve the time of day in court.
Prober insists this lawsuit is part of a conspiracy led by Nygard's Bahamas neighbor and rival billionaire Louis Bacon.
I'm saying that their evidence is not true, that it's been paid for.
And 2 other sexual assault suits were filed in California in January, also denied by Peter Nygard. There are no criminal charges against him, and none of the allegations has yet been proven in court. Bob McEwen, CBC News, Toronto.
Former movie mogul Harvey Weinstein considered his victims complete disposables, according to prosecutors at his rape trial. It was the prosecution that got the final word today, making their closing arguments. And very soon, Weinstein's future will be in the hands of the jury. Stephen D'Souza was in the courtroom today.
In their closing arguments, Harvey Weinstein's defense team presented him as the victim. As expected, Assistant District Attorney Joan Aluzzi painted a very different picture, saying Weinstein acted like the king of his universe. The universe is run by me, and they don't get to complain when they get stepped on, spit on, demoralized, and yes, raped and abused, Aluzzi said, mimicking Weinstein. Aluzzi showed the jury testimony from actress Annabella Sciorra and Jessica Mann side by side. She said each gave similar details, despite not knowing each other, despite their allegations of rape taking place decades apart.
There was a pattern here of his exercising his power, of his manipulating them, of his abusing them.
Aluzzi also showed jurors an email Weinstein sent to a publicist before Sciorra's accusation became public. This was consensual or deny it, Weinstein wrote. Aluzzi's voice rose as she pointed dramatically to the monitor. I submit to you, that's a confession. Weinstein has contended that the relationships were consensual, pointing to friendly emails and texts after the alleged assaults. The prosecution reminded the jury that sexual assault survivors often maintain contact with their assailants. There are no blurred lines here. This is a crime. Aluzzi suggested that as a Hollywood big shot, Weinstein likely didn't need to assault women, but did it anyway. Maybe his kink is the fear in their eyes. That last comment set over loud objections from the defense.
We feel good about where we are. This is a case that should be about evidence. It shouldn't be about emotion. It shouldn't be about feelings, and it's not a popularity contest.
For all the drama and the competing narratives, the prosecution says it comes down to whether the jury believes the witnesses against Weinstein. The jury will begin their deliberations on Tuesday. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
The Prime Minister has been on the move for a week now, visiting countries in Africa, plus Kuwait, and now Germany. One goal of this trip, to get support for a seat on the UN Security Council. In other words, this was in part about Canadian clout, leader by leader, handshake by handshake. But Catherine Cullen shows us how Canadian clout has limits.
Protectionism is on the rise. Trade is being weaponized. The benefits of democratic governance are being questioned.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told world leaders there are plenty of problems, and he's pitching Canada as a solution.
Canada is ready to partner with old friends and new allies to do.
But some relationships are more fraught than others, as today showed. Trudeau and other Canadians met with Iran's foreign minister. It's been more than a month since Iran shot down a plane, killing everyone on board, including 57 Canadians. These smiling pictures come from the Iranians because Canadian media weren't present. Trudeau defended the meeting.
We are working with Iran. We have to work with Iran in order to get those answers for Canadians, and that is my focus.
But progress seems incremental. Canada wants Iran to share the data from the flight recorders, but can't say when or even if it will happen.
The discussions we had today was going further. We were not talking about the why, but we were talking about the how.
The Prime Minister was also pressed today on how he dealt with Senegal's president. On Wednesday, Trudeau stood beside him as he defended the country's anti-gay laws, saying Senegal would never accept gay pride parades.
I've never shied away from bringing up human rights with leaders, and I will continue to do that strongly in a way that moves the dial forward.
Trudeau is pushing for a more influential international role for Canada, trying to get a 2-year seat on the UN Security Council, but that would only increase the complicated questions that Canada might face. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Munich, Germany.
Canada's role in the world has also felt the impact of a poor relationship with China. It's been scraping the bottom for more than a year now, but our chief political correspondent, Rosemary Barton, has been hearing from sources in Ottawa that there's a subtle change in the message from Beijing.
I understand I'm your first bilateral. Yes. Yes. Yes.
François-Philippe Champagne's conversations with his Chinese counterpart have lately improved and become more frequent. Canada has offered medical supplies that are urgently needed in China, says Wang Yi. On behalf of China, we extend our appreciations. Thank you. Part of it is necessity. With the quick spread of the coronavirus inside China and Canada's desire to get its own citizens out.
We certainly want to thank you for assisting in the evacuation of a number of Canadians. We are standing ready to help in light of the current emergency.
Part of it, though, seems to be opportunity. Canada's response to the coronavirus is winning unusual praise inside China, in state-owned media, by Chinese citizens online, and even in official government statements. As other countries, like the United States and Australia, moved to close their borders entirely to anyone coming from China, Canada did not follow suit.
Everything we're doing is consistent with what needs to happen to keep Canadians safe.
Government sources say because of that and other outreach, there has been a marked improvement in relations in recent weeks. For the two countries to be able to work together on anything at this point, they say, is progress.
With all the positive signs in the past couple of weeks, or some kind of a goodwill expressed by both sides, I'm cautiously optimistic both sides will continue to engage each other.
Two Canadian citizens, Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, remain detained in China. China is still angry. Canada has enforced an extradition order for the United States on one of its citizens, Meng Wanzhou. And Canada and China are still at odds over canola imports. Unlocking all of those conflicts, say sources, will be infinitely harder. But talking more is helpful. Rosemary Barton, CBC News, Ottawa.
New Brunswick's deputy premier has resigned, and that's put the province's minority government in a precarious position. Robert Gauvin stepped down in reaction to this week's health reform announcement.
Mr. Gauvin, please don't let us down. Please don't let us down.
With Gauvin sitting as an independent, the major parties are in a virtual tie, and the opposition Liberals and Greens are threatening to bring down the government in a confidence vote next month. There have been protests since the province announced Tuesday that it would close emergency rooms overnight in 6 rural communities. A Toronto Raptors superfan in a new setting.
This you can't dream of.
Next on The National, Nab Bhattia's recognition by the NBA Hall of Fame. The increasingly common smart home technology that police are tapping into.
It has magnified how we are able to identify suspects.
But privacy advocates are sounding the alarm. And the anatomy of an outbreak.
This kind of epidemic fire in which one person's infecting another person.
How China's strict reaction may have slowed the spread. We're back in 2. Welcome back. We're following several other stories across the country tonight. The Edmonton Eskimos have decided to keep their team name despite concerns from some Inuit leaders. The team says the decision follows a year of extensive research and engagement with people in Canada's north, but no consensus emerged, so the decision was made to stick with the name. The CFL club says it will continue to build its relationship with the Inuit community. Much of southern Ontario are battling bitter cold temperatures, with the wind chill expected to dip to minus 35 in some areas tonight. So cold, in fact, that people have reported hearing loud booms and small tremors in the Toronto area, which experts are attributing to the rare phenomenon known as frost quakes, a result of the sudden onset of freezing temperatures. Emergency warming centers have been made available in several cities.
There you go.
It feels good. We've been waiting for this. We took the day off to go skiing.
Right now it's back operational. That's great.
Just over 6 months after someone cut the cables, British Columbia's Sea to Sky gondola is back in business. Hundreds of people lined up today for the popular attraction to reopen its doors. It was shut down last summer after vandals sliced the main cable. That sent 30 gondola cars crashing to the ground. No one was on board at the time, but the incident caused some $10 million in damages. Police still don't know who did it or why.
Make sure you cheer the loudest today. We need you.
Nav Bhatia, the superfan, is the Toronto Raptors' not-so-secret weapon. He bought season tickets 25 years ago and says he's been to every home game since. A one-man Jurassic Park whose own fame has grown with his teams. Last year, the Raptors even gave him his own championship ring.
My name is engraved just like any other player.
For Bhatia, it's hard to imagine any other honor could come close. But another one is on the way. Today in Chicago, the Basketball Hall of Fame acknowledged Nav Bhatia's contribution to the team and the sport. And Greg Ross was there.
On behalf of the Basketball Hall of Fame, I want to say thank you for being who you are, and thank you for being a part of the Hall of Fame.
The chair of the Basketball Hall of Fame Board of Governors officially welcomed Toronto's own superfan.
Basketball Hall of Fame has a pretty nice ring to it.
I'm in shock. I am really in shock.
Now, Bhatia says officials from the Basketball Hall of Fame called him a few weeks ago to say they were opening a new gallery and they wanted him to be among the first to be honored there.
It's almost named after you because your name is Superfan.
Superfan. So it seems like that, but it's going to be the Superfan Gallery, and I'm blessed and humbled and honored to be the first honorary to be in there.
Starting in August, visitors to the hall in Springfield, Massachusetts will be able to see an interactive display featuring Bhatia as well as the late Penny Marshall, the director and actor who was a superfan for the Los Angeles Clippers.
When you think about some of the names that didn't receive this honor that are super fans.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson is one of them, Spike Lee is of them, but I think they will get, I'm humbled.
You beat them.
No, I don't want to use the word beat. I'm just being, I'm humbled by that.
But the selection of Bhatia is no surprise for some players, past and present, who knew him very well.
Just like the people who end up in the Hall of Fame as a player, as a coach, whatever, they paid their dues. Nav paid his dues.
I'm really blessed with that because for 25 years, all the players and the coaches and, the ex-players and everybody knows that I love the game of basketball.
Bhatia truly has been with the Raptors since day one. He tells me he's never missed a home game. In fact, he says he's never even shown up late or left early. Greg Ross, CBC News, Chicago.
British Columbia has another confirmed case of coronavirus. Next, the anatomy of an epidemic, how the virus went from completely unknown to the cause of 1,500 deaths and millions under lockdown. Plus,
I don't want a big brother state, but I want to make sure that my police service can respond to crime.
How some police are tapping into a common piece of smart home tech. British Columbia has announced a 5th case of coronavirus.
This is a woman in her 30s who returned from China in the past week.
The woman arrived at the Vancouver airport on a flight from Shanghai. Officials now investigating.
We follow people within 3 rows back and forth of somebody who may be symptomatic. So we've started that process to get a flight manifest and determine who might be in those areas, and then we connect with them. The risk is still very, very low.
In addition to the 5 cases here in BC, there have been 3 in Ontario. No one in Canada has died. Compare that to the flu, which has killed 46 people in this country so far this season. So what has health officials so concerned about coronavirus? We asked Vicadopia to find out.
When it comes to symptoms, the flu and coronavirus are similar. Fever, cough, headaches, nasal congestion, and vomiting. But this coronavirus also commonly comes with a shortness of breath and pneumonia symptoms, which are serious.
The usual cause of death is basically lung failure, so people just aren't able to oxygenate their blood well enough, and they can get a so-called, basically they go into almost like a shock type state.
That may explain why the hospitalization rate for the coronavirus in China is so high, about 16%, while in Canada, the rate for the flu this season is 7%. In both cases, people with mild symptoms aren't always counted, so these rates might actually be lower. Some don't even know they've been infected.
Physically, I don't have any symptoms. I would have never known had I not been randomly chosen.
The coronavirus has a higher death rate. In China, there have been 29 deaths for every 1,000 confirmed cases. In Canada, complications from the flu this season have killed just 2 out of every 1,000 people diagnosed.
What we're seeing right now with the COVID-19 is it appears as though a lot of people have mild infections, and so they recover quite quickly and quite well from the infection. But there are a smaller proportion of people who are getting severely ill.
The flu and coronavirus can vary when it comes to how contagious they are. With the H1N1 flu, the transmission rate is 1.3, or 1 infected person typically infects 1.3 people. For this coronavirus, it's almost double. A recent study put it as high as 2.2, higher than SARS, which was 2. When it comes to prevention, flu shots reduce the risk of illness depending on the flu strain, but there are no vaccines for coronaviruses.
Basic hand hygiene and limiting your exposure to coughing and sneezing are still the best ways to protect yourself in either case. Vicadopia, CBC News, Toronto.
China remains the epicenter of this outbreak. There have been more than 66,000 cases there and more than 1,500 deaths. Christine Burak looks at how coronavirus came to be and whether China did enough to stop it from spreading.
It's not easy to pinpoint the person who triggered an outbreak while it's spreading around the world. China is being accused of mishandling and suppressing information, but some scientists argue it has acted quickly to stop the spread of this virus right from the beginning.
So each dot here is a infection.
Trevor Bedford is a genetic detective. He's figured out when the first patient was likely infected.
The most likely scenario is that there was some initial phase at which there are animals in this market that are infected by novel coronavirus, and there's exposures that are happening at that point, and people are getting sick, but then around this November 15th to December 15th timeframe, one of those events kind of catches.
Bedford is tracking the virus's genetic code. It changes slightly when the virus passes from person to person. The data is so detailed, it traces right back to when patient 0 became sick.
And then starts this kind of epidemic fire in which one person's infecting another person, and then that has since grown to be this large epidemic that we see today.
Scientists calculate each person infected with the virus is infecting about 2 to 3 others. At times, this outbreak was doubling in size every 6 days. That large epidemic is happening in Hubei, China. The capital, Wuhan, is a bustling city of 11 million people. The first public sign that something was wrong came on December 30th. Local physicians, including Dr. Li, warned people in group chats about a SARS-like virus in the city. The next day, Wuhan's health commission told the WHO it had 27 pneumonia cases from an unknown cause. Then, New Year's Day, authorities shut down the Wuhan seafood market, believing it could be the source of the mysterious virus. A week later, China said they're dealing with a new strain of coronavirus and 41 people are sick. Within days, Chinese scientists unraveled the virus's genetic code, allowing countries to develop tests and track it right around the world. Following those reports, journalist Sean Lee traveled to Wuhan to find out what was happening on the ground.
Up until late January, local authorities were saying it's really not that bad. There's no reason to worry. It's not that serious. So it wasn't even, I think, even a lack of information so much as there was some misinformation as well in the beginning.
January 20th was pivotal. China declared the virus was spreading from person to person, and health workers were sick. To contain the spread, authorities placed an unprecedented quarantine on the people of Wuhan, followed by the rest of Hubei province. An underreaction, followed by a massive overreaction.
People are starting to drop on the floor.
Countless headlines and social media posts have been arguing China was covering up cases and the outbreak could have been stopped sooner.
So I think it's dreaming in Technicolor to think that we could have detected this earlier.
Infectious disease specialist Alison McGeer was on the front lines during the SARS outbreak in Toronto in 2002. China was widely criticized then for not telling the world about the virus for months. But McGeer and other experts say they're extracting information from the virus itself and credit China with finding and identifying it so quickly.
We're talking a maximum of a week between when those physicians were raising the alarm bells and when China declared the outbreak to the World Health Organization. That's still really short. It's not enough time to have made a difference in the evolution of the outbreak.
On January 25th, Chinese Lunar New Year celebrations were canceled. There were nearly 1,300 confirmed cases, 41 deaths, and 23 people outside China were infected in 9 countries, including Canada. In just over 3 weeks, China had gone from identifying a virus no one had ever heard of to the unprecedented quarantine of 50 million people in order to stop the spread.
People have done an amazingly good job at trying to contain this, and if we have failed globally to contain it, you can't look at China and say, oh, you could have done better. Of course they could have done better.
At this point in the outbreak, many scientists do seem to agree on one point. Given global travel, this virus won't likely be contained, and the world is at the beginning of a mild pandemic. The last time a mild virus made its way around the world was in 2009. H1N1 ended up claiming about as many lives as the annual flu virus. But scientists say COVID-19 may be a little more severe, but China's lockdowns could change this equation. The lockdowns do appear to have slowed the spread of COVID-19 cases around the world. However, doctors in this country are being told the virus may be too late to take hold in this flu season, but they should be actively looking for it when cold and flu season starts again in November. Christine Burak, CBC News, Toronto.
A Canadian couple trapped on that quarantine cruise ship in Japan spent their day celebrating.
Well, 48 years ago today was when we met. And so we've always considered Valentine's Day a special occasion day for us.
An anniversary under quarantine, their love story and how they're managing in our moment. Plus,
it's a statement that says electric is the future.
Electric car sales are on the rise, but they still make up only a fraction of the market. Ahead, how car companies are trying to get you to go electric. A controversial crime-fighting social network is catching on in the United States. It allows people to share surveillance video with their local police, no warrant required. And now the mayor of Windsor, Ontario wants his city to join in. Our Thomas Dagla got a first-hand look at how it works.
It's a great town.
A police veteran in Livonia, Michigan, Captain Ron Tagg has had eyes on these streets for 32 years. But never before could he rely on so many eyes in so many places.
Sometimes they're in areas where you might not expect them.
In this Detroit suburb and across the U.S., more and more homeowners are lending their front porch to the fight against crime. With this gadget, a doorbell camera. It's connected to the internet and can provide police with video evidence, typically without a warrant.
We're looking at a map of our city.
If there's a crime, Captain Tagg can request homeowner video or respond to activity that locals flag as suspicious. All this with an app called Neighbors.
Now, when something happens, you can be one of the first to know.
Owned by Amazon and pitching itself as the new neighborhood watch.
It has magnified, obviously, and accelerated on how we are able to identify suspects.
Take this video showing a suspect examining a toolbox in someone's pickup truck after a string of attempted car break-ins. He was identified within minutes, thanks to video from Ali Shaheen.
If it wasn't for the camera, maybe he would open up the toolbox and clear it out. I'm glad I did it.
Shaheen installed 3 of those cameras on his property, and they capture a lot. The camera detects motion and is supposed to start recording as soon as someone approaches the front door. It's also meant to act as a deterrent by being in full view as someone approaches the home. Across the U.S., hundreds of police agencies have signed deals with the Amazon subsidiary to help crowdsource crime fighting. And Ontario could be next. Just across the Detroit River, Windsor is aiming to be the first Canadian city to sign up.
There's been no consultation, and
that worries big tech watchers like Professor Bonnie Stewart, concerned about handing police data to a multinational corporation and inching ever closer to intrusive surveillance.
Once we have opened the curtains in that sense, we can't close them. And we may never be able to close them again. It becomes normal. People become accustomed to being surveilled at every level.
Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins doesn't share that unease as he looks to fight his city's addiction-fueled rise in crime.
I don't want a big brother state, but I want to make sure that my police service can respond to crime efficiently, effectively, and with all the modern tools available to them.
So on Windsor's streets, there could soon be more watchful eyes than ever. For some, that's better security at a low cost. For others, it means lost privacy, a price they're not willing to pay. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Windsor, Ontario.
The annual Toronto Car Show is all about the latest in automotive tech. Next on The National, despite small sales, why car companies are betting electric is the future. We're following several other stories tonight, including a dire warning from the United Nations of an imminent food crisis in Eastern Africa. The region is grappling with the worst locust swarm in decades. It's having a big impact on food for people and livestock and threatening food security for millions. Experts say exceptionally wet weather is to blame and that the worst may be yet to come. 15 children are dead after an overnight fire swept through an orphanage in Haiti. The cause of the blaze not clear, though workers had reportedly used candles because of a power outage. About half of those who died were babies or toddlers. The orphanage is run by a U.S. religious group. And U.S. celebrity lawyer Michael Avenatti has been found guilty of attempting to extort Nike and of defrauding a youth basketball coach he represented. Avenatti could get more than 40 years in prison, but his lawyers say he plans to appeal. Avenatti represented Stormy Daniels in lawsuits against Donald Trump. The Canadian International Auto Show is underway in Toronto. It's a chance for companies to promote their latest offerings, and it should come as no surprise that this year's show features more electric vehicles than ever before. Investors are betting that EVs will come to dominate, but as Peter Armstrong explains, they're playing the long game.
Auto shows are a glimpse into the future, the cars and trucks of tomorrow.
And the winner is...
Electric cars and increasingly electric trucks,
Jaguar I-Pace,
dominate the headlines. But that future, so full of possibility, is still further off than the news cycle may have you believe.
Nearly 75% of the market was crossovers and SUVs, and yet what you see automakers promoting here at the show more than anything else is their electric technology.
The number of electric cars sold last year skyrocketed, but still only makes up about 3.5% of cars sold in Canada. Consumers are still worried about price and about range. Gas-powered utility vehicles are still the best-selling vehicles in Canada. So GM is betting big on the electric Hummer.
When you make a bold move and say that it can do everything, including what you love about a full-size truck, it's a statement that says electric is the future.
GM's building a new plant for its electric fleet in Michigan as car makers and consumers try to figure out what's next for the industry.
To look beyond what the automobile could be, it kind of goes back 100 years ago when horses was your way to get around and nobody could envision what we were headed for then.
You can see that duality on every highway in Canada. Electric cars are here. They're not going anywhere.
I do think it's inevitable that the industry as a whole is going to move in this direction, either because, as we said, governments are going to force them or consumer demand is ultimately going to force them.
If car shows tell us about the future, car ads tell us a lot about how to get there.
Let it go.
Audi pitching its $100,000 e-tron Sportback with a youthful star and a Disney song. Now, most experts agree eventually consumers will let go of gas-guzzling cars and trucks, but it's a long road between here and there. Peter Armstrong, CBC News, Toronto.
Next on The National, spending their 48th anniversary under coronavirus quarantine.
This is definitely the strangest one we've ever had.
The Canadian couple celebrating aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship. Lolita and Hans Wiesner met on this day 48 years ago. So they have a tradition of marking Valentine's Day, and they weren't going to break it today, even though their cruise ship is under coronavirus quarantine. On board, the Diamond Princess docked in Yokohama, Japan. They dressed up, they ordered champagne, and they tell us they had some fun. Their anniversary in close quarters is our moment.
Well, 48 years ago today was when we met. And so we've always considered Valentine's Day a special occasion day for us.
This is definitely the strangest one we've ever had.
We met in passing through my girlfriend Penelope. We actually only knew each other 5 days before Penelope and I were heading to Europe. He wanted me to come home, so I did, and then it was just a question of getting our wedding organized. Everybody deals with this kind of situation in their own way. I think we're just lucky that we have a positive outlook, and it's not really bothering us.
We have a nice bottle of champagne waiting to be opened. We get along very well, and we know each other well, and we look at these as just opportunities to have a good time together.
It'll be an easy one to remember. That's the truth.
I feel like they'd be the first to remind us that this isn't exactly a hardship, but it is difficult. But, you know, their attitude, and they kind of made it clear there, makes such a difference. They say they have English-speaking staff that are helping them out. They have access to English television. And given their choice, they would stay aboard this ship after the quarantine. By the way, they're monitoring their temperature and no sign of any illness. So happy Valentine's Day to them and to you as well. That is The National for Friday, February the 14th. Good night.